paranormal road trip. It's an important part of any investigator's process because unless you're lucky or unlucky enough to live in a haunted house, ghosts aren't going to come to you. You got to visit the spirit and go to them. I'm Ken DaCosta, co-host of the Paranormal channel's Dead Air. For the next half hour, we're going to join some investigators who took road trips to try to answer the age-old question, do ghosts exist? So, with that, keep an open mind, keep both eyes on the road, use some common sense as we present these paranormal reveals. Let's go!
I didn't hear any answers at the time, but I did initially I felt like there was somebody standing beside me. Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a paranormal researcher. My paranormal reveal takes place in Kerr City, Florida. Kerr City was the second town in Marion County, plated in 1884. The town grew to 100 residents, a hotel, a sawmill, a general store, pharmacy, a school, church, and a post office. It served as a stage stop for travelers commuting from the St. Johns River to Ocala. Originally a cotton plantation, during the Civil War it flourished as an orange-growing community. Junius Terry, who was a doctor from Chicago, and his wife arrived and built the late Kerr House in 1885. This hotel was 3 stories high and was made of virgin pine. Despite the precautions of taking down all the surrounding trees, the hotel burned down in 1907, reportedly by arson. The post office, established in 1884 and renamed Lake Kerr in 1888, was in operation until 1942. The founder, George Smiley, continued to live in Kerr City when all the neighbors moved out after the freezes of 1894 through 1895. By 1955, his son Alfred owned the entire town. More recently, the area has come to be owned by Arthur Brennan, a descendant of some of the original homesteaders. As of September 2014, the town is fenced off, and visits by the general public are no longer allowed. The Port Orange Paranormal Society, we all went to Kerr City to do an investigation. We'd been to Kerr City many times before. I went with the whole group. There were probably about 5 or 6 of us. We just went to go check out the activity in Kerr City. Every time we've gone, we've always received some good activity and some good evidence. It has never disappointed us in the past. Earlier in the evening, a couple of the guys from the team had experienced some aggressive activity towards them. They experienced some pushing, and they felt like the entity in this location did not want them there. So George and I decided for me to go in as a female to see if I experienced anything different, if it was a different vibe or a different sensation going on. This was Mr. Brennan's father's house. I was upstairs in the bedroom, and it was very dark, pitch black, could barely see anything at all. So I got the feeling that the time that Mr. Brennan had lived in his house, it would have been very inappropriate to have other men up in his bedroom or even in his house in that area. So I just on a whim went with a line of questioning along that, asking if he was offended or felt disrespected that there were men in his bedroom. And I didn't hear any answers at the time, but I did initially I felt like there was somebody standing beside me. So the person with the camera on the other side of the room, I asked him to pan the camera over towards me. And as he was doing that, I think that I saw like a black mass next to me as well. This is the moment that you will see in the video clip that my hair gets moved. I did not feel it at the time, but it is in this time when I'm asking that line of questioning that happened. So you can see the camera panning over to me where I'm questioning, and right there my hair gets moved by something completely unseen. You can see there's no other wind. The rest of my hair is not being moved. I'm not moving my body. I'm just talking. My body is completely still. There are obviously no strings attached to my hair. Nobody else is next to me. It just moves by itself. When I first saw the clip, I was pretty surprised because I didn't feel my hair move at the time. But it wasn't a sense of fear or I didn't feel like it was anything trying to be aggressive towards me like other people had experienced that evening. To me, I felt like it was just someone trying to communicate with me. My impression of Kerr City is that it's a very active place. I feel very sad that it's been closed to the public for quite some time now. I would love to go back and check it out again. It's a beautiful location. Even if you remove anything paranormal, it's just a very beautiful, historic, and peaceful area. I think that the buildings there should be protected and saved, and I really hope that it does someday open back up to the public so other people can go and experience the historic beauty of this location.
So I quickly went to my audio, and I was recording with my parabolic mic. And I couldn't believe how crystal clear this EVP sounded. Hi, I'm Tom Stewart. I'm a podcaster and a paranormal investigator, and my paranormal reveal is from Decimont Mill in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. The Decimont Worsted Mill was one of many Woonsocket worsted mills built by French and Belgian textile businessmen in the early 20th century. The result of Governor Armand Pauthier's efforts to attract foreign investment to Woonsocket. In 1931, a Belgian mill worker employed at the Decimont Mill helped found the International Textile Union. The mill complex consists of 3 brick buildings, erected 1907 to 1910 by Jules Decimont, the owner of a textile firm in Tourcoing, a city in northern France. He had been drawn to Woonsocket by the promotional activities of Governor Pauthier. The mill produced French worsted wool yarn until 1952 and was used for many years thereafter by smaller textile and industrial concerns. It was added to the National Registry of Historic Places in 2007. So we were in the garage, and another investigator was asking questions. But he was asking the questions in French because of the French influence. When we ended the EVP session, the investigator decided to thank the spirit in his language. So what you're about to hear is the response that we got.
Try to talk to us. Thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup.
When Joe discovered the EVP, he sent it to the rest of the group. I hadn't reviewed my audio yet, but when I heard his clip, I was blown away. And I was so upset that I hadn't found it first.
Try to talk to us. Thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup.
So I quickly went to my audio, and I was recording with my parabolic mic. And I couldn't believe how crystal clear this EVP sounded. I could even detect the French accent on the voice. So the investigation of the mill was really just an incredible investigation. There were so many things that happened, everything from shadows to voices and strange sounds. But the unbelievable part was that EVP of the French voice. And of all the places for it to happen, with all these rooms and buildings we were investigating, it was in the garage of all places that we detected it. And for me, when it comes to EVPs, I like to be skeptical, but this one, I can't figure out any other reason for it to have happened other than for it to have been a disembodied voice reaching out to us and politely thanking us as we thanked them. Just an amazing place. To me, I don't usually jump to the conclusion of haunted, but there was definitely spiritual activity in this building. And it seems like it was friendly, and it wasn't upset that we were there. It seemed like it was happy to see us in some ways.
I was expecting a traditional answer like the RMS or the RMS Queen Mary. I got sort of a slang term. I got the Queen, which was shocking and amazing to me. Hello, I'm Tony Rathman. I'm the founder of Entity Voices Paranormal Investigations in Phoenix, Arizona. My paranormal reveal takes place October 30th on the RMS Queen Mary. Construction began in 1930 in Clydebank, Scotland. The Queen Mary was destined to stand in a class all of her own. Despite suffering economic setbacks during the Great Depression, which stalled construction on the ship for several years, Cunard Line spared no expense in building the Queen Mary. She boasted 5 dining areas and lounges, 2 cocktail bars and swimming pools, a grand ballroom, a squash court, and even a small hospital. The Queen Mary had set a new benchmark in transatlantic travel, which the rich and famous considered as the only civilized way to travel. She quickly seized the hearts and imaginations of the public. As World War II started, the Queen Mary's transformation into a troop ship had begun. She was painted a camouflage gray color and stripped of her luxurious amenities. Dubbed the Gray Ghost because of her stealth and stark color, the Queen Mary was the largest and fastest troop ship to sail, capable of transporting as many as 16,000 troops at 30 knots. After the end of World War II, the Queen Mary began a 10-month retrofitting process, which would return the ship to original glory. On July 21st, 1947, the Queen Mary resumed regular passenger service across the Atlantic Ocean and continued to do so for nearly 2 more decades. By 1965, the entire Cunard fleet was operating at a loss, and they decided to retire and sell the legendary Queen Mary. On October 31st, 1967, the Queen Mary departed on her final cruise, arriving in Long Beach, California on December 9th, 1967. She has called Southern California her home ever since. We had the opportunity to spend 4 days on the RMS Queen Mary when there were no other passengers. We got invited to the 4-day live investigation of the Dark Zone. The clip you are about to see is a response that came through a box we had built. We went into the Grand Salon and I simply asked, "What ship are we on?" And here is that response.
Spirits, can you tell me what ship we're on? What ship are we on? Say the name.
I was amazed at the response that came through. I was expecting a traditional answer like the RMS or the RMS Queen Mary. I got sort of a slang term. I got the Queen, which was shocking and amazing to me. Radio frequency on the boat was difficult to acquire, yet this response came through clear as a bell.
Spirits, can you tell me what ship we're on? What ship are we on? Say the name.
This was a great opportunity to be on the boat for 4 days. And hopefully the boat will resume operations where people can stay on it and investigate the amazing activity that happens. This particular clip was only one of the multitude of paranormal experiences had on the ship over those 4 days. Its history is incredible. The amount of paranormal activity that occurs is amazing. And let's hope the future history of the boat remains open so other investigators and people that have not had a chance to experience the Queen Mary will get that chance in the near future.
then all of a sudden, I think he had asked, do you not want me down that highway or something? Because it acted like it didn't want him there. My name is Renee Dykes. I am the founder of Tennessee Night Stalker Paranormal Intrigue. My reveal is at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, the 3rd floor nursery. Old South Pittsburgh Hospital was built in 1959. The hospital was really the only hospital in Marion County. It also served parts of Alabama and different locations. The extension of the hospital was built on in around the end of the late 70s. The hospital finally had to shut down because it could not keep up with the newer and more profitable and equipment-wise of other hospitals. The hospital, the Tri-City Clinic was the first part of the hospital. And I think it was October of 1959 is when they did the dedication to it. And the 4 doctors that founded the hospital. This hospital was not state funded. It was founded and funded by the 4 doctors, which were Taylor, Vincent, Hackworth, and Havron. It was a small community and everybody knew everybody. And it was devastating when the hospital shut down. We've worked since 2018 when the new owner has taken over the hospital, bought the hospital. And we have tore everything out. We have rebuilt the hospital, and it's looking more like it did when it was opened back in 1959. Yeah, this was in 2019. It was myself, Jack Kenna, and Candace Weston. And he had called me and wanted to know if he could come down and investigate the hospital, because this would have been his first time at what we call OSPHPRC. We were in the nursery, and he started investigating and was getting quite a bit to start with. And then all of a sudden, things went a little haywire.
Somebody else in the hallway. Is there a person in the hallway? Is there a person? Ah, okay. You don't want me coming down there, huh? Okay. Yeah, you don't want to talk? Oh. Sorry. Yep. It was in there.
Yeah, it was in there.
Well, you know what? We heard it above us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it took the piece of tile and knocked it out.
We pretty much, and as you can hear me saying, oh my gosh, I hope I got this, and which I did. We were in, like I said, the 3rd floor around the nurse's station. This was during daylight. It's dark in that hallway. And Jack was just trying to communicate, and he'd already gotten quite a bit. And we were going through, just talking, and he was getting different things on the EMF and all kinds of stuff. Well, then all of a sudden, I think he had asked, do you not want me down that highway or something? Because it acted like it didn't want him there. And then all of a sudden we hear a wham, and you can hear it on the video. And what it was when we finally flipped the flashlights and stuff on was just like something had broken off a piece of tile, and it slammed right in front of Jack. And then Candace flips the light over, and you can see it laying on the ground in front of Jack, right in front of his feet. This tile is light, and you can hear it when it hits. And we're all like, Jack just kind of backed off, and you can hear Candace screaming because she had no clue, and we thought it was a toy or something getting thrown at us. And me, the only thing I could think of was, oh my gosh, I hope I got this. And I'm running back to the camera to make sure that the camera was still on. But when I saw it was the towel, it kind of like, okay, because with the force that it took to throw just that little corner piece, that kind of made me sit back and think.
Is there a person in the hallway? Is there a person?
The spirit in question, we've all got a lot of theories about what this particular spirit is. I keep leaning towards an elemental, and the reason that I say that is because it is there, it protects, and mainly it protects the children is what I thought to start with. But I think it's there to protect the hospital. And the reason that I think that is because there was it wasn't a battle, it was an Indian war, the Civil War. And the Indians had let the Northerners store their weapons and stuff like that on their land. And mind you, this was right behind the hospital. And when the South found out, they went up there and just massacred everybody. See, I think that's what it is. I have seen it. I have actually seen it with my own two eyes. And it's different forms and different shapes every time somebody sees it. But as far as the hospital itself and the spirits there, they all protect that hospital. And there's no demonic. We have some bad spirits. I mean, cranky, bad mood, but they will protect the hospital. And just like we've told them, that this is your home. And all we're trying to do is help maintain it for another 60, 70 years. They're from all walks. They're different. We have soldiers. We have doctors that still practicing medicine there on the 3rd floor and the 1st floor. Then sometimes we have some that pops in that we have no clue who they are, but some stay and some move on. But she is a beautiful place, and I'm very proud of her. And she has my heart.
So, there you have it. Some people who ventured out to meet some ghosts. A lot of times, it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time and hoping that the spirits want to converse. We're almost there. So how do you feel about what you've seen? Is this proof of the paranormal? Misidentification? Natural causes? In the end, it's all up to us to form our own opinions. But until then, we'll keep searching. I think this is the right house. Yes, it is. Till next time.